Hey guys, welcome to our very first episode of our new podcast. Who knows where this is going to go, but the name of our podcast we chose is The Cost of Yes, because this is something that our family has embraced and a lesson that we've been gifted to learn. Because when you say yes to something, inevitably you're saying no to other things. And so it's been a life of sacrifice that has gotten us here. And for us, that's Jay getting into an Ivy League college, um, full ride scholarship. And we'll get into that. And that's why we're starting this because, I've talked to several parents and they're asking for like the golden key to how to get your child into, an Ivy League. And the gag is there's not like some surefire way. But what I can do and what we can do and what Jay can share is just our process, the immediate process of applying and writing essays and her high school career. And I can share the process of child rearing and what we've done. But I just want to probably stress that every child is different, every journey is different. The criteria for essays is probably going to change year over year, and scholarships are likely going to be a lot more competitive than they are this year because of all of the changes in the, student loans and the caps and all of that. So, in any case, it was extremely competitive.
Yeah, it's this admission year I read was the most competitive of all the years because of how big the birth spike was in 2007.
Period. So, that is not to discredit what Jay went through and what she accomplished. Like she just said, it was the most competitive. But we'll just get started. There's no magic formula, but we do have magic sauce.
Yo, what?
We got the magic sauce.
Okay.
Okay, so it's the first question.
Okay, so the first question is for mom. When you first heard I got into an Ivy League, what was the first thing that ran through your mind?
Immediately, my immediate reaction was, I knew it because, you know, there were so many steps in the process. And with every step in the process, I just felt the Holy Spirit like say yes. But I was still absolutely still surprised, of course, and all the things. But I think in the long run of things, I was texting Auntie Aya today. I sent her the picture of your ID card,
Oh
your
yeah.
Dartmouth College ID card, and we were like sending crying emojis to each other. And I was like telling her that I had a moment just then when I saw your full name of like the day I flashed back to the day you were born.
It's the first question.
Yes. And your full name. Just seeing your full name on that Dartmouth College ID, just like it spoke to God's promises over your life. On that, like literally while I was in labor, God was telling me about who you would be and who you were. And your name, Jehaziel Micaiah, just speaks to the character you would have. And I just didn't know. And it just kind of hit me again today, like looking at your Dartmouth College ID with your full glorious name and knowing that this entire time has been a collab with God raising you. Okay, what's the next question?
It's for me. You gotta lock in.
Okay.
You gotta lock in real quick. Check.
Where is it?
It's right under you. This is for you.
For you, what do people not see behind the acceptance letter, such as late nights, the emotional toll, and the rejections before the yes?
Oh my gosh. I think, and this comes back to like a certain friend of mine saying like, "Oh, you got lucky," and like after me telling them that I got in, and I was like, I was offended because I'm like, luck is nothing to do with this. Like, you don't know my journey, you don't know how hard I worked. So I think some big things that go behind the scenes, definitely for me at least, the pressure I put on myself. I'm like my biggest critic, so I think all the time I said no to like hanging out, just so I could get that A, or demanding, not demanding, but begging for extra credit when I already had like
Mm-hmm.
a 98 in a
Yep.
class, just for preventative measures. Um, and I think it was a lot of stress, a lot of tears. I've definitely, this is so bad, but I've cried over getting a B. And now I find that funny because I've gotten a B now in high school, and I know it's not the end of the world. And even with my standardized test scores, like, it's not the end of the world to do one
Mm-hmm.
bad thing. Emotional toll definitely just goes down to the pressure I put on myself. It definitely gave me a lot of anxiety and stress, unneeded stress, because there was already so many outside factors that were stressing me out, and I was just putting that extra layer. And then with for the rejections, I think this process has taught me truly that rejection is redirection. Because
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
had like two dream schools.
Yeah.
First, it was like UCSD, and I was like 22% acceptance rate. Like, there's no way.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went on a college trip, and I was supposed to visit them, and then that fell through, and I was like, dang, like I feel like I really don't have a shot. And then it was Pitzer College,
Right.
which is like the West Coast Ivies. And I went there, and I was like, I'm in love with this. It's a small student population. Like, they are so socially like aware and driven for justice. And then I applied for their fly-in, and I got rejected. And I remember like literally walking out of class because I didn't want to cry in front of people, and I was just crying as if I got rejected from college.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was like, I'm a failure. Like, if I can't even get into Pittsburgh, which is like 11% acceptance rate or
Mm-hmm.
something like that, I was like, if I can't get into their fly-in, like, what chance do I stand? And I tried so hard on those essays, like, so that was my first big rejection. And of course I got rejected from like the Yale Global Scholars. I got rejected from a couple other and it just, in my head, it was like a no for
Yeah.
like the rest of my life. Like, I felt like that was the defining factor. Like, oh, you're gonna be nothing. Like, you can't even get into this, and you're not even applying to colleges yet. But truly, I would rather be where I am now than like, I feel like that was God protecting me with those no's. Because if I had went
Absolutely.
to Pitzer, I wouldn't be where I am, like the flying.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's what I would say.
Period.
What sacrifices did we each have to make to get here, and which ones hurt the most?
Those are big. You want to go first?
No, you can go
You
first.
want me to go
I
first?
just yapped a lot.
Okay. Okay. So for this question, I know there are going to be times in this process of doing episodes where you and I are just not going to be able to articulate, reiterate, and express everything that we really feel about these questions and the answers that we
Hmm.
should rightfully give them. But the sacrifices to get here, um, man, there's so much. And some of them are messy sacrifices. I don't know if I want to talk about them. Um, one of the sacrifices for me to get here, I think, you know what? Can I ask you a question first before I give my answer? Okay. So remember, we saw a few of our friends at the Lex, and Lad asked you what question?
I don't remember.
He said, "What did your mother do?" Like, how did your mother? No, no. He said something to the effect of, "How did your mother raise you in a way that you're here where you are right now?" Remember that
I
question?
remember that question. I remember giving a good answer. I just don't remember exactly what I said.
I remember what you said.
What did I say?
You said something about you feeling safe.
Oh, like home being my safe space.
Yeah. Can you expound on that a little bit?
Like, answer the question again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think I remember saying like, just having a safe space to grow and fall back on, like when I have hard moments, when I have rejections and failures. Like, I was never ever looked down upon or feel like made to feel shame even through hard moments, and that just became like my refuge and my safe space. And that's what I needed to thrive and to grow, because in a lot of other spaces, like outside of home, there was a lot of non-safe spaces
Yeah.
and a lot of harm. So yeah.
That is basically my answer for this. My sacrifice throughout your guys' life. And I mean, I did make a lot of mistakes, especially when I was a younger mom. But I then began to realize, like, okay, the only way I can offer a safe and consistent and stable and reliable home for you guys is if I remain single. I think for a lot of the journey, I wasn't in a mental space where I could even handle a relationship.
Mhm.
I was like, you know what? I'm not going to date, and I'm not going to, you know, actively work towards the dream of being married and having a family. I accept that I'm not going to have that right now. I just kind of stayed quiet and stayed at home, really, stayed at home. And but that was the most important thing to me, was providing a safe and stable home. That was my sacrifice. Was, you know what? Like, I also was gigging when you guys were younger. I was like a musician on the weekends and doing all the things and having multiple gigs a week and being out late at night, and that kind of fell by the wayside too. And I just started really enjoying um, not doing that anymore and focusing on my career, focusing on my 9 to 5, focusing on the things that would allow me to be really stable and to be at home. My ultimate prayer for years and years, and this was like an outlandish prayer, I prayed to God, God, make me a stay at home mom that also works. Like, how can I be single but still feel like a stay at home mom? And after, making my way, God really directed my path in that. And that's a whole episode and story in itself. But in essence, like, God allowed me to start building a career in a niche sector that would allow me to work from home. And I really do feel like a stay-at-home mom
Mhm.
that works, and I'm single and I don't rely on anyone else's income. And but that requires a level of sacrifice and a level of consistency and stability as a
Mhm.
single mom, with all of the other things I do. But I wouldn't trade that in for anything. I hope I captured the essence of that. I'm going to answer that way because your answer to him really struck me, and I'm like, whoa, that was super simple. Like, that was what I did for you. I'm like, okay, that's
Well, you
cool.
did a lot more.
I
I
know, no,
just
no, no, not in a bad way, but I'm like, wow, that's the one thing that really, you know,
Yeah, and I think I also thought of that answer because I've grown up with friends who don't have stable homes and
hmm
have toxic like cycles in their
yeah,
homes, and I see how it shapes their mindsets, like not
right,
wanting to do more with their lives, and not in anyone is specific,
hmm
but just like from growing up elementary school to high school, like I've experienced people who don't have parents that provide that safe space, and
yeah,
some of them are baby mothers now, and some of them have passed away.
yeah.
So, yeah, I think that's why my answer was like, that's the main thing.
Very valid, very legitimate, and I really appreciated that. And it also makes sense because even when, like, and I think we can speak about this generally, but even when you were in therapy, like when the therapist told you to close your
Oh, yeah.
eyes and to think of a safe space, you thought of me, and that was like so beautiful.
Let's have a cry count on the screen, please. We're at 2. Yeah, it's okay to cry.
I just worked really hard to be that for you guys. And like, even the therapist was like, wow, like, that doesn't really happen.
Yeah, like all of our therapy sessions, he's like, I can tell your mom's an amazing mom. Like you got so lucky with her. I'm like, I know. Or even the Panther Town.
Yeah.
I was having like an anxiety attack and we didn't have any phones, but I was like, give me my mother right now. And when I was on the call, somebody had to be with me for safety. And she was not trying to like listen in, but she was like listening to the words you were saying to me and calling me down. She when I hung up, she was like, wow, your mom is literally like a power, like your mom's amazing. Like you're so blessed. And I was like, I know. And that's all people ever talk about when they really get to know you.
Mm.
Like she's a mother to the motherless and the people who don't feel like they have strong relationships with their mothers. She's also like a best friend and a mentor and like yeah.
A coach.
much. And an addicted shopper, but that's besides the
Shut
point.
up.
And a crier. It's okay. We love you. I think a big sacrifice that I had to make was honestly the biggest thing is probably time, because even in like middle school and high school, people were doing things that I wasn't doing, or their time was going to like being a kid, like in the real sense, like doing kid things, like going out, like all that stuff.
Like what stuff?
Well, just like going to all the games together, and
Oh, like football
yeah, and
games.
just like hanging out, like how high school students do. Not
Oh,
saying I didn't do that, but as much and as often. Like I would say no to a lot for, I mean, for multiple reasons. But and also like studying when nobody else is studying, or taking the extra mile in class, you know, doing self-study,
like
and
you would do that during lunch or during breaks.
or even during the weekend. And even like when about standardized testing, I was going to like the bookstore for 6 hours and going through this big chunky book, and my friends are like at a farmer's market or something.
Mhm.
So I think that's a big thing, is time, because I believe time is priceless and
It's precious,
it's precious.
something you can't get back.
So that's my biggest sacrifice, is time, I think. But yeah, I don't feel robbed of like my childhood experience, and I think there's a balance, because I obviously have had a lot of fun, a lot of good memories. I think something that hurt the most was probably just being viewed as different at times, and that was by like the wrong people. Like my real true friends would never like think that of me, but like being made fun of in school for being like the class pet or whatever,
Hmm.
because I'm like, after class I'm talking to the teacher and asking what I can do better and for feedback. Was just kiddish bullying, but like that hurt me for a while, and I
Hmm.
like didn't want to be seen as like that kid that's like weird, and it did like cause like a rift between me and other students.
Hmm.
Not that it's like valuable to be friends with those people, but that did hurt at one point. So,
Well, I have to say, I'm so proud of you that you were able to stand your ground. And that's one thing maybe we can flash to a little bit of footage. That's something that you've been taught since you were like a toddler,
oh my gosh, that
is how to
video.
stand your ground.
Yeah.
Stand your ground means if somebody's pushing you over, you just stand your ground. Don't let them push you over. My mom, she was ironing my hair, and I was moving because she was pushing me, and Mama, she said, stand your ground, and I did like this. When somebody's pushing you, you just stand your ground.
But when I was in high school and I had that same type of like bullying, because I was in speech and debate, which I loved, I absolutely loved it. And then my friends were like, that's stupid. And I quit. And then a teacher wanted me to join Acadeca. And I
Academic.
was like,
It's academic. Academic decathlon. I've
yes,
never heard DECA. But sorry, continue.
that's what we used to say in
Oh,
2003,
back when old people were.
2002. But
Yikes.
back then, my friends didn't like, not about the nerdy thing. So I didn't do it. And I regret that to this day. Obviously, I'm talking about it, but you didn't allow anyone to get you off
Yeah.
your path. And that is
Bro, I
amazing.
remember being bullied for being in chess club, and I was like, okay, that's why. Like, I honestly had to channel it into like a strength, like a I'm cooler than you because I
Hmm.
can be in sports, I can do chess, I can have the brains and the beauty and the bronze and have a
And the
good
booty.
and have the the good personality, like still be kind to people.
Hmm.
And I think after a while, people started to like respect that,
Yeah.
just because I was just authentic to my passions and my.
They either respected it or they were jealous of it.
Yeah, and if they were the weird type, then I wasn't messing with them, and then that
Yep.
just showed me who I need to be around.
Period. For you, Jay, was there ever a moment you thought this might not happen for me? How did you push through?
Oh my gosh, that moment was the entire time. Like from
Do you want your hand back? Because you tend to talk with your hands and then you keep moving this hand.
oh yeah,
Okay.
um, yeah, I definitely say that was like the entire journey. If I'm gonna be honest, like there wasn't like any point in time where I was like, oh, I got this. Like can't nobody touch me. Like I'm. There's the Tyler song. It's like if I ever said wait if I ever said I doubted
Girl.
me, I was lying, or something like that. Tyler said it
Yeah.
better. But like I doubted myself the entire time, and that's like my mental mountain hill that I need to still get through. Um, but yeah, and like even the little like
everyone else knew but you.
basically even God told me, and that's something that I can own now because in my own faith journey I haven't heard God's voice many times, but when I do, I'm like, okay, that's
For
Stark.
certain.
Yeah. He told me I was going to Dartmouth before I even got my acceptance, before anything. And I was like, what the heck? Was that my like subconscious like trying to make me think? But no, cuz even after that I was like, no. There's no way. And even when I opened the acceptance letter, my first initial reaction, I think I kept saying this why is this happening to me? Or
No.
I said something to that effect. I was like, it's in the video. I was like,
I don't know.
this is not real or something like that.
Oh, look, the whole Dartmouth Bond group trying to. Oh my god. Jay here, 17th, 12th grade. I matched to Dartmouth College in New Hampshire. The Ivy League, the Ivy League.
Like I just couldn't accept it that I had finally done it, that I had accomplished something so big. I saw this TikTok that was like, when can I start separating my accomplishments from things that I feel like I'm supposed to just be doing? Because that's something I feel like when I do accomplish something, low key, I'm like,
Yeah.
well, I should be doing this anyways, like on to
Yeah.
the next goal. But for this, like, I feel like I really need to try to relish in that gratitude and success. So yeah, there wasn't really a point where I was like, oh, I got this.
How did you push through
I think
all of, because I want to lay the groundwork for this question, because even like you got so many no's, but you still had so many essays to write.
oh my gosh,
Like you had so many essays within a small
2
amount of
weeks.
time.
It was 2 weeks.
So you were still pushing through all
Yeah.
of the craziness.
I never want to go through that again. But I think what pushed me through all of that doubt, all of that hard work and stress was honestly just, well, obviously God, but also my willingness and my motivation to do better for my family, and like not letting any of the sacrifices or pain that we all experience to go to waste. Like that was my biggest fear. Like more fear than not getting in or not becoming something was to disappoint my family and to not honor the sacrifices and the legacy behind me. That was my biggest driving factor, I think, was to make you proud and make it worth something.
Okay, lock in. Raise your toast. Lock in, bro. Stop stuffing your face. I want to say to Isaiah, I'm so happy and honored to be your big sister. And I hope I make you proud. And as much as I'm doing this for mom, I'm doing this for you. Everything I do is with the intention to make a way for you so that you don't have to go through the hard stuff I had to go through. And that this whole process is easier and you have just a beautiful experience and it's more available to you than it was for me. So I'm very grateful to hear you say that you're proud of me and all that stuff because I do it for you, you know? And then to mommy. I just wouldn't be where I am. And like, even though you didn't know exactly what you were doing, you always took me to where I needed to go. And you always put me in the spaces I needed to be in to get to where I am. Like, you never let an opportunity pass me by if you knew you could get your hands on it, you know? Like, you were so intentional, and you're, like, my biggest advocate.
You know?
Well, you made us all very proud.
Gracias. Okay, for mom. How did your own life experiences shape how you supported me through this journey?
Well, I want to keep it on the positive, and I want to respect people when I answer this question. So everything that I experienced, I have tried my best not to impose those those things, those patterns and dysfunctions and trauma and hurt on you guys. I do believe that two of my greatest teachers obviously were my parents. Um, and a lot of things I've taken from them and have instilled that in you two, but even more things I have said, thank you for showing me this. I'm never going to do this with my kids. One thing that my mom taught me that I feel like I had to teach you guys was the concept of dressing well. What?
No, I'm talking about myself.
Okay. But no, the importance of like making a good first impression. She taught me that when I
Right.
was, younger. And so she was like, never wear pajamas in public, and don't do this and don't do that. Dress well. This is your first impression.
Right.
And that actually held really well for me throughout my life. And that was one thing I was like, y'all ain't going out the house, with pajamas on or da da da. You have to, take pride in how you look, and that I think is an important life lesson, is to dress well, because dressing well, presenting well is also showing your respect and consideration for others around you.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that my dad taught me, I think, was an appreciation for music, and that was something that just um, carried me through my childhood and adulthood to this day. That still sustains a
Mm-hmm.
part of my income. It just helps me to live, and it's still a passion of mine, even into my big age. And that's one thing I absolutely knew that I was going to instill in you, was maybe not a passion for music, but you were going to know music. And I think, as part of your development, that really, really did help shape you in a really great way.
I just wanna see how beautiful you are. You know that I see it. I know you're a star.
Jay, what moments made you cry from exhaustion or joy that no one saw?
I'm trying to find an example of both. I think exhaustion. I was definitely crying when I was in the thick of applications. Because with Questbridge, once you become a finalist, well, first of all, you have to write essays to become a Questbridge finalist. Then you find out that you're a finalist, and they give you 2 weeks to basically finish all the
To,
supplements.
to apply for 8 colleges.
Yes, well, however
10
many you
colleges.
rank.
Well, some people didn't rank a lot.
Yeah,
You ranked
I
a
know
lot.
people who ranked like 4, and it was like Brown, Yale, Stanford, Princeton. I was like, what do you do, like, bro? Because Questbridge has like Ivy's top 20 schools, like that are still top schools in the nation, but like this guy only put Ivy's.
Sorry, go ahead.
And so yeah, I ranked 8 schools personally. So I had 2 weeks to finish complete college applications for 8 schools, because I wanted to give myself the best shot at getting into a top school. Because Questbridge is like a full ride. I was like, if I have any shot at getting a full ride to anywhere, I need to do that, because the financial burden, I'm not about to do that to my family, to my mom. So obviously, a single mom, sole provider, breadwinner. So I think there was definitely,
Well, I mean, let's be real. I wouldn't be able to afford it anyway.
exactly.
And so it would really mean that you would go into debt, which is something I've never wanted you to go into debt.
That's something.
I've talked about that forever.
Yeah, that you've instilled in me since I was like literally in kindergarten, because you always had your experience with debt. But yeah, there was definitely tears during that process, especially when like, and I was experiencing it with 2 other people who were also finalists, so that helped me a lot. But sometimes like I felt like my efforts paled to theirs. Like my friend who got into Stanford, shout out to Stan Fart. That's what I call him. He calls me Fart Mouth. But he's like one of the smartest people I know. Like our teachers were always glazing him, and obviously, like he's going to Stanford, he was like salutatorian or something. And like seeing how they work through their processes, I was like, I felt like I was going to be the one who didn't match with the school. I felt like, I don't know, less capable. So there were definitely some tears because I felt like I was working just as hard, if not, I had to work even harder because it was a little bit tough for me. But yeah, and then some tears for joy. I think there's like certain nights when, and especially, we were talking about this in the light of the big, beautiful bill. Beautiful. Like the fact that I have the financial aid that I do, and that like a literally worldly renowned institution is paying me to go there, and people
Boy, are
now
they
can't even,
paying
right, and now
your way.
people can't even get as much money as they need to go to school, and I'm being paid to go somewhere.
Yeah.
That, and that degree is gonna change my life.
Yeah.
Like I've seen how it's changed people's life. I've seen like their journeys and where they are now, and like it's gonna, like that gratitude hits me at some points, especially in lieu of all this stuff with administration. And I've definitely shed some tears of just gratitude, and like especially in prayer when I'm just talking to God, and it just like hits me a little different, like the reality of what I'm living and the prayers that I've prayed that are answered, and I'm living in it. And like whenever I have to slow down and realize that I am in the thick of that answered prayer, I definitely cry.
Yeah.
Good tears, tears of joy. So yeah, that's my
Amen.
answer.
Amen, sister.
Oakley dokley. What's a moment during this journey where you broke down and why?
Which journey?
This college season journey.
I did not break down.
Not once?
Mm-mm.
Okay, your iPad.
It's not
Okay.
relevant to me. I have faith,
Period.
all kinds of faith.
How did you keep the household running while trying to support a dream as big as this?
Wow. That's a good one for a single mom. You know what? I didn't think about it. It was just a muscle memory. In the Olympics, not saying I'm like Olympic level, but if
'Cause you're not.
momming was an Olympic level sport,
If momming was
come on, speak it.
an AP test, you'd get a 5.
No, it was muscle memory. God has told me since you guys were very little, like I'd be praying, like I'd have these moments, not very often, but if I'd be like at a conference or like a worship night and I'm just praying and I'm seeking God in desperation.
Mhm.
As a young mom, I was desperate. I was broke. I was single. I was lost. I didn't have an I mean, don't have an education. I didn't have a good paying job. I didn't have any prospect or
Right.
promise in my life. So I'm going to God in these moments, like in despair. And every single time he would meet me in worship and say, but just focus on putting those kids first. That's the only answer he ever gave me.
Mm.
And I had plenty of questions, plenty of doubts, plenty of fears, but the only thing God ever told me was to put those kids first. I've had many years of doing just that. When you guys were younger, I was taking you guys to 2 different daycares while also working full time. Tina and Tribe, we got Jay and Kingston. Let the rambunctiousness begin. So I would drop Isaiah off at one, drop you off at another, go to work, have a full busy day, then pick you guys up respectively, go home, make dinner, get you guys in bed, do it all over again, 5-6 days a week. So that was when you guys were younger. And then, during that time when I was, a little bit of a younger mom, I would have more like mental flare ups where it was like, oh, this is so overwhelming. There'd be days where I would like just have to cry once a week and just take a moment because I was so overwhelmed, but I couldn't do anything about it because I was working all the time. But I would just take a moment every week on the weekends to just cry, to just get it out. And then, okay, I'm back.
You locked back in.
Yeah, I'm back. But over time, over years, that was no longer a thing. You guys were able to like contribute. You guys were able to contribute as far as cooking meals, doing more chores,
Or watching Isaiah while you worked.
Yep, like no more 2 daycares a day. So there was I think this progression of stamina that God built in me. Like, oh, I've done plenty.
Right.
I've done
like you've
so
always
much.
been on.
Always been on. And so when it came to, as a single mom, being able to provide a stable foundation for you as you reach these crazy big dreams. Of course, like, this is what I've been doing, and it might not have been um, a big deal back then, because back then you were just going to second grade, but now it's just second nature to do that, because
Yeah.
our house was built on solid ground and not on sand. But also, I will say, it wasn't not difficult. You know, the day I work 6 days a week, right? And you still, like, for example, when you were preparing for the standardized test, we had to drive to meet
I
your
was just gonna bring something like that up.
mentor. I'm sorry, you had to drive to bring to
My tutor.
your tutor,
Yeah.
like, clear across town. And we did that many a time.
Yeah. Or if I was like, because while I was doing the applications, I was still in school, so I had
Yeah.
5 AP classes, my applications, and like I would like be visibly stressed out, and you would just be like, "What do you need right now? Like, what do you need from me? Where do you need to go? Do you need to go to a cafe, get a matcha? Like, what do you need?" And you were always asking me that.
Yeah.
Like, and she would always say, like almost every day, like, "I'm here to help you succeed. Like, just tell me what you need, and I'm gonna help you." So that was like a big factor in how I was able to do all this, because you're always like helping me get there in any way you could help.
Yeah.
Like, obviously you couldn't literally be
Obviously, I
me,
could.
and
Yeah.
and she doesn't like,
I
as
could.
a
Right,
as a first gen student, like I couldn't exactly turn to my
Yeah.
mom like
Yeah.
how should a college essay look? How could, but she was gonna do her best to try to provide me resources and space for me to find out those answers and thrive and all that. So
I mean, and that's what we did. Like, we talked to Anjola, and, like, I was like, Anjola, I didn't finish college, and I ended up with a bunch of debt. I don't know about scholarships. I don't know about
right.
the entry process. I just was winging it when I was doing it. But can you provide expertise? And that's one thing that I learned as a single mom, was that I need a village.
Yeah.
And if I can't do it, which I can't do a lot, and I don't know a lot, I'm going to outsource, and outsource with people that I trust. And Anjola is like a spectacular
Yeah.
human being, and she sat you down and was able to tell you
Literally
exactly.
like gave me like time frame plan.
Yes.
Like, here's when you need to start
A
this.
whole printout, a whole
Right.
folder,
A
like we
whole
were buying a
folder.
home. Like, she's like bringing it out.
Right.
Yeah.
It was like a new world.
It was legitimate what she
Yeah.
presented.
I'd never, and that's the thing too, and I think that's God, because we met Angela through our church. My school did not tell me. I didn't even know Questbridge was a thing.
They
I
didn't support you in any way.
honestly didn't know any of the Ivies. I didn't know where New Hampshire was on a map until she like opened my eyes to all these opportunities that I would have missed otherwise. Like, my counselor wasn't telling me about anything. No teachers, like that's just not the school I went to, where it's not like a feeder school. It's not a school where they want kids to like go big, do big things. So
I love them, though. I love that high school.
love
They're a real one. You had some great coaches.
That's one thing we each did that the other may not have fully noticed at the time, but now we want to honor.
Oh, that's a big one.
We got to think on it.
Yeah. Okay. And this might be something that you may not have fully noticed either, but throughout this journey, and I mean, for people who know Isaiah,
my terrible twos. I'm just kidding. He acts like he's two.
For people who know my son, her youngest sibling, he isn't much for many words, and he acts very nonchalant.
Ew, don't give him that, bro.
He acts, but what I'm gonna say is that I want to give you honor for, throughout this entire process, really making it an inclusive thing. And I don't know, like, I think we do that as a family anyway. We've built that into our familial DNA. So I don't know that you were being super intentional about it.
I don't know what to say. So, Jay, I would like to say I'm very proud of you, and you are a very good example for me. and I will continue to look up for you, up to you, and that you deserve everything that has been coming your way. And I'm very proud of you.
But I could only imagine someone else perhaps going through a situation like this and not um and and not really bringing in your sibling. But I believe, maybe through quieter ways and through subtle ways that you did that. You always extended a branch, and
Or
we
even
talked about it.
yeah, or even like I had ACT boot camps
Okay.
during the summer.
We both have our story on that.
Yeah, I brought this little 13,
Okay, can we
14
talk
year
about
old.
it really quick? Let me just explain.
Okay.
Isaiah got in trouble.
Oh, is that why I forgot that?
Isaiah got in trouble.
Little.
And so I was like, you are not staying home. You going with your sister. And you're going to this ACT boot camp with her.
Right.
But that's not to discredit you
Because
taking him under your wing.
and yeah.
Okay, so you go.
And like honestly, like that experience, I mean, he was the youngest person in the room. Everybody else was in high school.
Yeah, absolutely.
Getting ready to take the test.
They were all juniors.
And it like while I was focusing on getting the help I needed to prepare, but I'm also minding him, making sure he's doing the work because he didn't want to do it. It was his summer. He didn't want to do it.
He never wants to.
Right. Like making sure kids are being respectful to him. Like just because he's younger doesn't mean you treat him some way different. Making sure he felt included because there was obviously like group topics, asking him questions, making sure he was good, making sure he was fed.
Yep.
Like him wanting to go get seconds for lunch and me coming with him, like pulling me away from my book. Or even like when he did do good on tests, making sure everybody affirmed him in the room, making sure he felt celebrated, making sure he felt like he was capable. Like I make fun of him now, but like when it was actually there, like I was making him felt like he just won like a Nobel Peace Prize.
Absolutely.
And making other people treat him as such.
Yeah.
Like you're worthy, you're brilliant, like this is gonna be you in a couple years.
Yep.
Or even like just gassing him up, like glazing basically. And even like the teachers were like, if this is how you're testing at this age, when you get like you're gonna be a super score. Like so yeah, just the little like intentional things. Like to make things click in his mind that he's capable and he's the next up. Like he's got it. So
I want to honor you in that because it's really important because he has a history of not getting really great grades. But oh my gosh, this is important. And it's gonna make me cry again.
The cry count, let's go. That's 3. It's okay.
Like he wasn't getting great grades, and then one day, like in, I don't know, in 5th or 6th grade, he's like, I want to get awards. Because he saw you getting all the awards. And I never put pressure on him in that way. And I also didn't intentionally try to make him feel bad that he didn't get any awards. But one day, as we're riding to school, he's like, I want to get awards. I'm like, okay, get awards then. You know what to do. You know how to get it. And, he was striving to get student of the month. And when he got it that first time, I think he's got it twice now. But when he got it that first time, he was so proud. Yeah. Because you got student of the month multiple times. And he had a blueprint. And from then he was year over year, semester after semester, he was getting better and better grades. And to this point where he ended 8th grade, he was like all A's and some B's. Like that for him is huge.
The jump is
the huge jump for him is amazing. And this whole way, like not only did you provide a blueprint, but you like included him. So I just wanna honor you in that because you didn't leave him behind. And I wouldn't obviously want you to leave him behind, and I hope that's something that I instilled in you, but that's important that you did that.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. Because even like I just had a grad trip and we were doing little toasts. Like I meant what I said when I was talking to Isaiah. Like as much as this is to honor your sacrifices, I want to make sure this is for him too. And I never want him to go through those late night like those late night cries and doubts. I want him to feel so sure of himself that he's capable, and I don't want him to like feel like in comparison to me he can't, or that I'm taking the cake of the family. Like he's gonna be better than me. Like I want him to feel that. And I feel like he is. Like he's competitive with me.
I know.
He's like, well, guess what I grades, and I want to affirm him. Like as much as I make fun of him,
Absolutely.
like I'm very intentional about affirming that
Mhm.
behavior and the positive reinforcement. So I'm happy.
Yes, I feel like that's something where I was like, okay, Jay is a superstar and she knows it. So I'm gonna gas up Isaiah and be like, "You're smarter than Jay was at her at your age."
I don't like that clearly.
Because that's the gassing he needs. And I mean, there's truth to that too. Like he's very smart, and you guys are intelligent in different ways.
In different ways.
In very different ways.
My GPA is higher, but okay. What's one thing we each did that the other may not have fully noticed at the time, but now we want to honor? I think something, and it kind of ties into the thing that I just said about like you being at my every need. Like, what can I do to help you succeed? That was something that I really, really appreciated. But also, I appreciated it because I feel like this past year has been obviously very stressful for me, but one of the most stressful years for you. You took on another job. Like, your 9 to 5 has been really hard, consistently hard. And like making
She
time.
works 3 jobs, guys.
Why are you saying she? It's you. Don't talk in third person. She works 3. If you want me to say it, just say that.
it.
She works 3 jobs, guys. 3 jobs. Isn't that crazy? Yeah, and like, but also making time to like show up to things, like for both kids, like not just me. Like she's showing up to my volleyball games, my wrestling matches. My wrestling matches are like 12-hour days just to.
Well, I'm not there for all 12 hours.
Well, obviously, but
but yeah, definitely.
Just showing up in that way too was so impactful because I never felt like you were missing a beat or that like I was alone in any of that, and I still got to like pursue things I wanted to. You were pretty supportive, so that's something I want to honor. Like I don't know how you did it, and I tell people this all the time. Like I don't know how she does it, and still shows up for her kids and still supports me like in the ways that I need. And I think you recognize that, and you're very intentional.
Yeah,
and that intentionality has gotten me to this point. You know. So yeah, I want to honor that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You didn't cry.
I don't know why.
No.
I tried. I've cried so much. I think that's why. Especially this past week, I've cried a lot.
Yeah. Well, the reason I'm crying is because I
Bottled it all up.
Because bottling it up because I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah,
now we gotta face it.
Gotta face it, embrace it.
This will be an appropriate one to end this with. How did we celebrate the little wins even before the Ivy League? Yes.
Celebratory family dinners.
We have so many of them.
I know.
I feel like this is one thing that I've like wanted to always be intentional about is just finding any reason to celebrate our little wins, our big wins, any win.
Yeah, I agree with you. Like it was lots of celebration, lots of like going out to eat and doing little toasts and stuff and making sure we felt acknowledged and recognizing the hard work it took to get there. That was big because like if there's one thing I appreciate, it's being seen like for all the work it takes because it took a lot. So yeah, even if it was a little win, it was still recognized as if it was a big one. Yeah.
I want to say that I think in general, parents, I think family dinners are very important. And extremely important.
It like psychologically did something like, wow, all these people are showing up for me because they believe in me and they're proud of me. Like that, and it makes me really motivated. Like what can I do to get this next like celebration. Yeah.
And I also want to offer like, and when we do celebrate big wins, I want to make sure that you know that we're going to do it in a big way. Like it's really, it's worth celebrating.
Yeah.
Like for example, like you graduating high school. And in a lot of ways, I think Asian parents obviously think that's a little win. Like, of course you graduated high school because we're focusing on college. Of course you're going to get into college, but we really want you to get into an Ivy League college. Like that, those are the type of things that Asian parents like think. And for me,
an Asian parent,
yes,
because you kind of sound like you're
but
she is Asian.
I succumb to a lot of.
She has a lot of Asian parent traits.
I do,
for better or for worse.
I do.
Continue.
I'm not going to lie. I do.
Continue.
With that, though, for me personally, high school graduation wasn't a big deal. But honoring you in all that you went through in high school, to me, that's a big deal. In what you endured and conquered and overcame and thrived through, that to me was a huge deal. And so, yeah, we took like a 10-day road trip, and that was very meaningful. And I wanted you to know, like, this was huge, and I honored and I respect this.
Yeah.
Like, mad respect to you for not only getting through high school with everything that you went through, like being the best student and being, a child that every parent dreams of. So,
Thank you.
yeah.
Really appreciate that. And I can feel that through our celebrations. Feel appreciated.
Which was so, in and of itself, I was struggling so much to do that. Anyway, I'm glad you felt that.
I did. Gracias.
Okay, love you.
Love you.
Okay, bye-bye. No, just kidding.
Okay, thank you guys so much for tuning in.
And if you have any questions...
And she cut me off.
No, go ahead.
Wait, what was I saying?
And if you have any questions, feel free to DM us.
Ew. Thank you for tuning in. This is the first of a couple or many, I don't know,
Several
episodes. Our next episode will be on long-suffering, sacrifice, and resilience. So if you would like to hear that, make sure you stay tuned.
Elder Millennia.
Oh my God. Turn it off, please.